All right, guys, we're here again with a tier list. This time it's for Craig Jones. You guys have been asking me for this since I made the ones for Danaher and Gordon. Go ahead and check those out if you haven't seen them already. If you guys are interested in their videos, I've watched all of their stuff. I've also watched all of Craig's stuff. He's basically in that top 3 of people I really enjoy watching. So today we're going to break down all of his instructionals in terms of which ones are worth the money, which ones I personally have liked the most, and which ones you should buy and possibly in what order, right? So let's start out with this Mexican karate, ground karate escapes front headlock series. So this one was made famous because he trained Alexander Volkanovski against Islam Makhachev. Or no, it was Brian Ortega. And Brian Ortega jumped on a nasty guillotine from mount and basically almost finished Volk. Looked like the light was coming out of his eyes, but somehow he miraculously got out. To be honest, I'm not sure that had much to do with Craig's technique. It looked like it was just more slippery, and Volkanovski has a bald head, and he was able to hold off in some fashion until he was able to slip his head. But regardless, I don't blame the man for marketing off of that. And this instructional is actually really, really good. I think it's one of his most underrated ones. Really good concepts that simplify making sure that you come out of headlocks with an advantage. And one of the things I really like about this one as well, that's a little bit different from other front headlock defense instructionals that I've watched, like Gordon's, is that he goes into standing headlocks, and a lot of it is from like single leg shots. Maybe like you go to 2 knees on your single leg entry, and somebody is able to lock up a headlock. He does a really good job of showing different really useful counters for that. And I think it'll really improve your standing game and make it not only able to withstand a lot of headlocks and guillotines and such, but also make you not afraid of shooting, which is a huge deal. So I'm going to put this one actually at S tier. I really, really like this instructional. I think everybody should buy that one. I have Fight Dietitian next. This one, I mean, I skimmed it. It's just not really that interesting to me. If you're like a high-level pro and you have really, really difficult weight cuts or something, definitely check it out. I'm not knocking it. I mean, for what it is, it's good. It's just that this is like a very niche topic. It's just about fueling yourself for competitions, and there's a lot of different opinions on this. Some people think it doesn't matter at all. Some people think, they really do feel a difference depending on how they cut and what they eat and stuff like that. So if that's you, definitely a good instructional. I'm not going to put it at D or anything, but it's probably at C for me just because I don't really have much of a point to watch it. Down Under leg locks. This one is really good. I'd probably put this at A. Some of his best stuff is his older things. Like, they don't get as much love, obviously, because he did these earlier on when he wasn't as known in the jiu-jitsu world, but it's still really good information. And in a lot of ways, I think they're almost better to watch than some of the newer ones because people are very aware of the newer ones. But these ones actually do have really, really good leg locking principles in them that are still that still work extremely well. And people are now kind of sleeping on them because they're not like the new meta. But Craig does a really good job in most of these older ones of, especially his leg lock DVDs, of like talking about common troubleshooting issues. So like he doesn't just show you leg entries and finishes. He's going to talk about like very common things that people will do and his answers to those, which I find really helpful. Like people getting hamstring exposure and pushing on your foot, what he does in those scenarios when he's trying to leg lock somebody. So I think that's really like different than a lot of people and really valuable. The triangle machine, definitely a really good instructional. I like this one as well. He has really good triangles. And if you learn these two together, then you're kind of like setting yourself up for success because one leads into the other really well. Triangle goes into leg locks, upper to lower body dilemmas, very good. And I think he has one that's actually like both of them together. Yeah, submission dilemma. So we'll just talk about this one. I would put this one at maybe B, just because it's a little bit redundant if you've seen the other two. He's kind of just showing how to connect them, but again, that's a really important topic. Honestly, I like all of his instructionals, but I would say for my ranking of these ones, I might put that one at B. Still really definitely worth the money, but if you've seen both the other ones, I think you definitely can kind of infer a lot of these things if you understand them well and you master one of the leg lock ones with the triangle one, right? The Z-Guard Encyclopedia, really good. I'm going to put it at B, though, just because he's got a new and improved one out, which is the Make Z-Guard Great Again, and that one is really well done, and it's like shows his evolution from Z-Guard Encyclopedia to Make Z-Guard Great Again, which I'm going to put at S tier, which is a really good instructional. If you like Z-Guard, he has a really good game that is going to show you a lot of different facets of how to use Z-Guard from like 4 directions, right? So top right corner, top left corner, bottom right, bottom left. So you'll be able to attack the whole body with a lot of stuff that he's doing. And like for example, his Choi bar stuff in the Z-Guard one was really, really good. His Choi bar entries are really helpful. And like his floating Z stuff, definitely worth the money to check that out. And it's really simple concepts, but he also does a good job of explaining to you why they still work, even though they're simple. So Make Z-Guard Great Again, I would definitely recommend over Z-Guard Encyclopedia, but like the other early ones, his early ones are very discounted. So if you're light on funds or whatever, this is definitely a great option. You're still going to learn a ton. The dude has a really good Z-Guard, or half guard. If you guys aren't familiar with Z-Guard, I think that's more of an Australian thing. So next we have false reap accusations. Definitely going in S tier for me. If you want to know how to false reap, you got to watch this instructional. You got to buy this one. It is the best instructional I've seen on the false reap. It's when false reap started making sense for me. He does a good job of explaining outside arm entries, inside arm entries, when you can use both, when you need to invert under, and when you can use Kani Basami, and also how to wrestle and utilize knee bars with the false reap. So overall, it's a very good instructional, and even alone, I think the concepts that he shows where people are reticent to give up a sweep, you'll knock them down, they come back up, and your ability to throw spam false reap through those transitions is super powerful. So if you really want to get proficient with the false reap, this is definitely one of the best instructionals I've ever seen on it. The only other person I think that is even close is like Taylor Perriman. I've seen Taylor Perriman's award-winning leg locks, or trials-winning leg locks. That's a really good instructional as well. He does a good job of explaining false reap, similar to Craig, but Craig's is much more expansive and definitely worth the money. I would get that one first. So, and one thing about the false reap as well, he does a really good job of explaining why the false reap is valuable, and it's a really good position because even as a smaller guy, you're connecting your entire body to one limb of another person. So if you're a smaller guy and you want to get into leg locks, you don't want to get smashed, this is the instructional to buy. I think this is like a really, really good way of creating that sticky connection that you need with guys who are super explosive or cagey and being able to put them away. Like, this is a tool you need in your toolbox, in my opinion. Okay, so pass the guard quickly and easily by using leg attacks to set up the guard pass. This one's definitely cool. I would say it's probably B tier for me, just because he has his power top or top game instructional, which is kind of like the new and improved version of this. But I do think that his leg entries from top were really good. He's had a lot of success with them in international competition in the past, and he's definitely someone to replicate if that's like a game you want to use. So I think that this is definitely a great instructional. It's just more niche. So, you know, I might put this at A, actually. I did like it a lot. And I think it's a really good concept that like people don't use a lot. They kind of just think I either am passing or I'm falling into the legs. But they don't think about the concept of like utilizing a fake or an attempt at the legs in order to get a pass. Like Chris Wojcicki is really good at this as well. He uses like estima locks while he's passing or the threat of an ankle lock to get someone to kick their feet and boot their foot and overextend, and then he jumps to the hip. So very similar idea with this, and definitely something that will make your passing more dynamic. And it's a good way to like ease into passing if you're not good at passing, right? If you're a leg locker and you want to start passing, like kind of cheating it with your leg attack entries is definitely a good way to go about it. All right, submission escapes. I would put this one at S tier. I really like this. He has really good and creative different submission escapes, such as his Darce escape, where he posts out on the hip and takes the back, or flattens out, and ankle locks. Just things that you would think, like, why hadn't I thought of that? It's not like that crazy when you see it, but it's just things that he's come up with that are pretty simple and easy to implement, but work really well. So I would definitely put this at S. I love his defensive instructionals. I think some of his defensive stuff is some of his best things. So I'm going to put that one at S as well. You Can't Knee Bar. This one I would probably put it A. It's one of his better leg locking instructionals, obviously. But you have to understand that, like, a lot of the stuff he's going to show is not necessarily in order to get the knee bar. He explains this in it, but it's like adding knee bars into your game and these different transitions he's going to show is going to help you get more heel hooks rather than actually get the knee bar most of the time. So it can really add an element to your game, and it's a very cool element if you want to learn that, and that's like a thing, a tool you want to utilize in order to get people to rotate and give you their heels more often. So I think it's definitely like a very unique instructional. No one else has anything like it. So if you like knee bars, if you're just into them, it's a great instructional. I'm going to put it at A. I don't use a ton of entries off of it. He has a leg drag knee bar I use quite a bit that I like a lot. But he also has very cool mechanics, like a figure four mechanic for the knee bar to stop rotation. And that's really valuable to learn that as well. So I'll definitely put this at A. This one is down under, like, battle tested leg attacks, I think. This one is also very good. I'd probably put this at B. I think I liked this first. I think this was the first one more. One of these has the X legs concept that he used against, like, Lovato, I think, in ADCC. He was shirtless when the Octopus tattoo. He was doing a lot of, like, backstep X leg stuff from half guard, which is really cool. And I think that's a really good one. It's worth the money. These are cheaper instructionals too. So again, like, I could put this one in A and the other one in B. But they're both very good. I'll just try to, like, organize these, you know. But again, I think that he does a good job of, like, not over explaining, but telling you enough in order to get you started. So Get Off My Legs Gringo is another one. This is a great instructional. I'm going to put this one at S for sure. I love this instructional. I watched this one. This one might be the one I watched, like, second or third most out of all of his, like, in terms of repetition and, like, revisiting it, because he does a really good, he's just extremely thorough with the leg game in terms of, like, talking about different strategies and understanding different facets of the game in terms of, like, hiding your feet and what the weaknesses of each attacking position for your opponent is. So, like, he might talk about cross-ashi, and, like, a concept, just for example, that I thought was interesting was how he showed, like, somebody has double trouble on you. You have the ability to pick the hip side because both of their arms are committed to holding onto your legs. So it can, even just simple things like that you might not have thought about, he breaks down for you, and I think it's a really, really good introduction to leg defense, and it also has a lot of really advanced concepts as well. So it really fits the whole game, the whole spectrum of leg lockers. If you're advanced or beginner, I would definitely buy this one. There's going to be a lot of material for you for, like, years. Balls to Wall, really cool instructional. I'm just going to put it at B simply because it's not as useful for me. It's not as useful for a lot of people. But if you are going to have, like, a cage wrestling match, not cage wrestling, like, you're going to have a jiu-jitsu match in a cage. Sometimes you see promotions do that. Definitely, this would be a cool thing to check out. I checked it out just because I enjoy, like, understanding these things, and I think it's a cool topic. I want to learn more about what I'm watching when I'm watching UFC, and guys are just, like, wall wrestling for fucking 10 minutes. But I think that this one obviously is going to be more of a niche audience, so I'm going to put it down with, I would even put it at C, honestly, just because it's a great instructional. It's really cool. It's well thought out. The hat's hilarious. But it's definitely going to be more geared towards MMA. So if that's you, then I'd put it at A or S, but for jiu-jitsu purposes, it's probably a C, just because it's not applicable to most people. But again, still worth the money if you are in the position that you want to know about it or you think it'll be useful to you. It's great. Closed guard. Every journey begins in the closet. Closet, closed guard. This one is, I'm probably going to put this at B just because, I mean, I like it. It was definitely a good instructional. But it's just like, it's kind of a boring topic. Like, I don't know. There's not like so much that can be said about closed guard anymore. If you like learning from Craig, then learn closed guard from Craig. But I've seen so much about the topic over my years that it's hard to like have any new spin on it. But I will say that he makes a boring topic of closed guard more fun, so that's cool. And it's extremely well taught. It's just that it's hard to differentiate a lot of the closed guard instructionals. So I'm going to put it at B. Super solid. If you want to know about closed guard and you like Craig's stuff, definitely buy it. It's great. Higher tripod passing. I would put this one at B. It kind of felt a little bit more of a random collection, and really like it does get into high tripod passing, but it doesn't get into a ton of entries, which I think is most people's issue with high tripod, is not actually finishing it, but getting into the position. One part that he talks about is like using the near side underhook and all of the reasons to do that, which is great. I think that was a super helpful section. And then he throws on some headlock, like wrestling counters that he uses when he like heists up on people, which are interesting, but they kind of don't really like fit into the overall pattern of the instructional. So I might put this at B. If you really like high tripod passing and you want to improve your passing with like unorthodox stuff like the near side underhook, definitely check it out. It's definitely, again, none of these are not worth the money. He clearly puts a lot of effort into all of these and they're very good. I'm just trying to rank these in terms of what I think were the best ones. So I probably put this one at B. Very cool. I like it. A lot of interesting concepts, but overall, not quite what I needed. Like I needed more entries, I guess. So now we have the anti-wrestling equation. This one's really good. I would put it at A. I like this a lot. I think this was a great marketing angle for him as well, because a lot of people do have this issue, like while they're coming up in jiu-jitsu, where they feel like they do really well against other jiu-jitsu athletes, but if they have a guy with a lot of wrestling experience, they really struggle. And he does a good job of like introducing you to safely wrestling other wrestlers, guys who might be better at shooting and things like that, and using upper body takedowns to get them down. And then also how to look to get on top of them through controlling their head and front headlocks. And he does a really good job of explaining kind of the hierarchy of different strangles from the front headlock, like why he doesn't like Peruvian neckties as much and things like that. So I think overall, like if you want to learn how to deal with wrestlers, this is a great instructional to buy. I would definitely get it. Check it out if you're having a struggle there. And I think a lot of people do. So I would definitely put this one at A. Edging yourself out of danger, positional escapes. Definitely an S tier one for me. Again, I love all of his escape stuff. His escape stuff is so good. He has really interesting answers to getting out of pins that are like kind of unconventional. For example, he has one in where it's like a tight waist and a cross face your opponent has on top. And he shows how to like shift your hips like backwards and forwards to get out of something like that. And I'd never seen that before. And I've watched a lot of instructionals. So I think he has really cool ideas, and any of his positional escapes or submission escapes stuff is really good. I'm going to put them all probably at S. So I would definitely watch that one. This is great if you're a white belt. For sure buy this. It's not as like dense as a Danaher and a Gordon one, but in a lot of ways that's better. So you just have to kind of decide what you like. If you like Craig's style more or theirs, it's just as good, honestly. So power top. This is, or B Team Top Game is what it's called. I think he said that Google Merchant Center was like trying to say it was a violation because it was like something sexual and being flagged, so they couldn't use Google Ads. But he switched it to Power Top or B Team Top Game. I would put this one at B. No, I'd probably put this at A because, yeah, he had his passing one here. And this is more comprehensive. He's going to go over, he's really kind of going to bring you like A to Z on passing in terms of like principles just on how to approach a supine guard, how to approach a seated guard, how to get into the pocket position and like fatigue your opponent, which is a great concept to get to beginners, is where you're like, he says not try to score points, you're trying to score fatigue. He's trying to ruin your partner's battery, right? So that the work rate is higher for them than it is for you. And he does a really good job of explaining that. And the only reason I don't put this one at S is because some of the best stuff that I got out of it was more fleshed out in Power Ride. So I'm going to actually put that one at S. But like he goes into body locking, and I took the turking of the leg from him, and that was really good. Really enjoyed that. But again, that was like also included in Power Ride. So I like that instructional just a little bit better. So I'll put this one at A. If you want a top game, if you don't have no idea about passing, it's a great instructional. Definitely check it out. Octopus guard, definitely S. I mean, again, this is a niche position. Which is something I really like about Craig's stuff, is that he does like niche instructionals. It's not just like vastly closed guard every time or vastly open guard. It's like he'll do octopus guard, he'll do just knee bars, which is kind of cool and different from what a lot of the pros will do. So if you want to know about octopus guard, like this is the guy to learn it from, besides like Eduardo Tellez, I guess, but he doesn't do as much no-gi, so Craig Jones it is. He does a really, really good job in this one. There's so many different facets to what he's showing, and he shows you how to stay safe so you don't get mounted. Basically, the ins and outs of the game that's happening, because it's a symmetrical position. So the only thing I would say about it that is like maybe not as useful for people is the fact that it's completely like a you kind of are putting yourself in a bad position if you proactively go for this. But Craig likes doing that. He likes just getting into these fun positions. So if you're that kind of guy, then that's awesome. For me, I'm usually using the octopus guard when somebody sits out on me. I don't just go to it off of a half guard like he shows. So some of those entries aren't really like applicable to a lot of people if they don't want to be that risky. But if you want to do that, if you want to play any kind of octopus guard or understand like scrambles, this is a terrific instructional. Definitely get it. It's cheap too. It's not even that long, but there's a ton of information in it. A lot of stuff you can work on for a long time. Does a really good job of explaining the science of scrambles. So if you feel like you're always getting out scrambled by fast guys, a lot of times it's just that you don't understand what you're doing, and this will really break it down for you. Okay, bottom game. I'm gonna put this one at S. This is a really good instructional. Definitely would recommend buying this one, even if you're more advanced or less advanced. It doesn't like go in depth over any one position, but it has a common theme through it where your ideas are to either turtle or gain height so that you avoid getting pinned. And he utilizes leg locks to gain height, and he utilizes turtle to gain height. And there's a lot of like wrestling reversals and things like that if you want to get ready for ADCC, it's a really good way to learn how to wrestle from like the quad pod or the 4-point or the turtle. I learned actually a lot of really cool reversals out of turtle for this instructional. And I also really like the leg entries that he showed, as well as like just the overall concept of getting up, which is much more like effective and useful for real life. And also for certain rule sets like ADCC, where the match is incentivized to reward the top player. So instead of like becoming a bottom player where you always are stuck on bottom and you don't have any ability to like follow up on sweeps or threaten standing on your opponent, and therefore you're kind of like one-dimensional, if you just build your game from this, it's going to help a lot, because you're going to come into the game learning that bottom doesn't mean I stay on bottom, right? So really good instructional. I would recommend that one to anyone. Great instructional. The just stand up, I would actually put this one at A tier. A lot of people didn't like it because they kind of felt like it was a mix and match of different techniques. And it kind of is, but it's really changed my game a lot. And it showed me how to stand up safely, which is a huge tool to be able to use as a jiu-jitsu player that wants to like actually have effective self-defense and compete well in these rule sets like ADCC, like I talked about. Completely changed my stance on turtle, how I do a closed turtle that makes it much more difficult for my opponent to get hooks and things like that. And he also shows some really interesting ways to finish like north-south strangles and katagatamis as well, that are much less counterable. So while it is like a little bit of a mix and match instructional, I think each part of it was really cool. So I'm actually going to put this one at A. And it's also just such a Kino, like Craig Jones instructional, because it's a thing that no one else would make, right? Like no one else just talks about just stand up. It's not like an instructional topic anyone else has covered, which is something that I like about what he does, is he's always using unique instructional topics. So now we've gotten to Power Ride. It's not saving the best for last. This was actually my all-time favorite. A ton of people, this was their favorite. Great instructional. This is not necessarily about passing. You might think it is, but what it is about is pinning, as it shows in the subtitle. New philosophy on pinning. But when you learn how to leg ride people and also use things like Dagestani handcuffs that he shows, and also like bottom people out where you're opening up their arms and legs and getting them belly down, these are like the worst positions in the sport. These are like not glamorous things, but when you know how to do this, it's awesome, because it's like you're just slowly murdering someone with these positions. These are positions that are just absolute hell for your partner, and they really are the epitome of like efficient, real life grappling, and how you could make it horrible for somebody and realistic, right? There's nothing unrealistic about these techniques. These are things that you can watch Khabib do to like 25 guys in the UFC and just beat their face in for like 10 minutes straight until they get knocked out or tap. This is like the blueprint to doing that. So if you want to feel like a bear on top of people and just controlling someone and just absolutely making their life a living hell, this is the instructional for you. The only thing I would say is it's a little bit light on like entries to get into the positions, but again, like if you take something else like his top game instructional and pair it with this, it's going to work really well, because that top game is going to show you how to pass, and then once you pass, you're going to learn how to knee ride, you're going to learn how to use claws to open people up, you're going to learn how to use different power rides like the Monopoly position and this leg staples and stuff like that. It's a huge benefit for your game to understand how to do this and really keep somebody down, because like he talks about, he always says like side control's fake. In some ways it is. If you have a really good guy who's really good at talented at escaping, it is difficult to actually hold somebody down. So this is my all-time favorite. I hope you guys like this list. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one you're going to get. And as always, this is Eddie with Crash and Flow. I'll see you guys on the mats.